Do you want me to?
Yes,
Lifesaver.
I remembered.
All right, it's new and I'll call the meeting to order. We don't have any citizens here, so I don't think we have a citizen comment. So I'll move on to public hearing 2024 budget amendment determination of RAA number 4 Main / East Main. I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Thad, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Awesome. We can hear, I wanted to see if we can hear you, so that's great. All right, so this is a continuation from last month. This is the amended budget that was noticed as needed to be in the paper. So this is just amending the budget to, right now, we're gonna take public comment, if any, on the amended budget. And then later on, there's an item to approve this budget.
Okay,
Okay. So you just open it up for public
yep, so I
comment.
guess I'll open it up for public hearing, for public comment.
And we have not received anything in writing. Staff hasn't received anything.
All right, so with nothing being received in writing and no public present, I'm gonna close the hearing. And move on to the active agenda, approval of minutes of April 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, open up for discussion. Okay, bearing no discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Sheila, on future minutes, I'd suggest, sounds old fashioned, but that when any of us attends virtually, that be noted.
Okay, That's a good
Like
point.
that today.
all right. We'll take
Does
note.
that sound old fashioned?
Nope.
No, and usually I
Very
do,
reasonable.
call that out. I did not on that, though. I will add that.
That's old fashioned, I like.
I would think that new fashion, because we have used to not have been virtually. I think I attended.
It's still in fashion,
You
but
did.
All right. Thank you, Butch. And I think we already voted, so we'll move on to approval of invoices, and I'll do all these together, lumping them together. First one being Tribune Publishing Company legal notice, annual report invoice 177517 for $29.76. Do you want me to do that one separate since Butch?
Yeah, let's do the two Tribunes separate,
Okay.
and then we'll do the other two together.
So the second one would be Tribune Publishing Company, public hearing notice and for amended budget, termination of area number 4, invoice number 178043 for $98.80. We'll group those two together.
We pay those two invoices.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll open it up for discussion. Did Butch want to abstain? Butch, do you want to abstain from the Tribune
I
invoices?
would abstain, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Butch abstaining. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? And no, Butch is abstaining. All right, so we're moving on. We'll do the other two grouped together. O'Sullivan Legal PLLC legal services for April in the amount of $742 and Fresno Gage annual audit for $5,100.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Open up for discussion. Anybody? No? All right, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, review of financial summary information item. We've got two. We have last month's March 2024 and then also April of 2024. If you don't have anything.
I don't have anything to add. I can ask the question.
Yeah, one question, on the 31 March 24, the top line. If I add up everything into the totals, it doesn't add up, and I think it's because of the debt balance.
This one or the bond summary?
I'm looking at, the summary of funds.
Down here?
Summary.
Oh, well, mine in the packet is on page 12. maybe I'm jumping the gun.
So it's this. This is page.
Oh, the bond summary, okay.
Okay,
And so if you look at the total of the top line, it doesn't add up to all the numbers in the line. It looks like it's adding up to the last four. So is the debt balance,
these plus the,
right? So it looks like the total is the primary reserve, secondary reserve, and available funds in Twin River. So what is the debt balance of
that's
itself?
the bond.
Okay,
This is the bank account. This is the cash. So this matches the other one. Which is this one.
Page.
So you can see there's the bond, and so here are the totals for Twin River. Then we moved money to the state insurance pool, state treasurer's pool, sorry. I always say that. And so you would have the 17,000, so we have a total of 1.6, but you take out those. The 228, 518 plus the 400,000 to get 1.065 of available funds. And so, I've looked at this before and I have that same question, and that if you do some like reverse math on it, 17. So there's the 17,721 in Twin River, 2 Banner Banks, so 375 votes. Which must be these two numbers of it. No, that's weird. I wonder if she did not. If this isn't accounting for. Oh, there it is, 672, 72982. So there's Banner Bank funds that are restricted, which is the 628, which is this line right here.
mhm,
And then you have the Banner Bank funds of 672, 729. And that was right here, 672, 729. So they're split up. Banner Bank, this is for Banner and Twin River. They're split up to show these balances of, but they're just in different categories. So you have the debt balance, which is a liability, we owe that.
mhm.
And then you have these two reserves. And so the two reserves are the 628. And then you have the 672, which is shown as the checking account for Banner Bank. And we have to keep a certain amount of funding in there to cover. And so we have 375,02416 in state investment pool, and that is, I don't believe, showing on here.
Okay, so the debt balance, we don't add into the totals.
Correct. Yeah.
And if it's a debt, wouldn't you put errands around it?
I mean, you could,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. This has been a long-standing report that
Mhm.
they've just kind of always done.
okay,
This, which is interesting, because this doesn't change. It's the same balance for the whole year until we make the payment.
right,
You know what I mean?
right, yeah, I know, I was
So-
just adding up totals, that's
Yeah.
how I go through things.
Right,
I noticed that didn't add up because,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, I don't have the history to know what's the real point of this.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Because you have the checking account information on the other financial statement. This doesn't show the state treasurer's pool, but I can ask Carolyn to add it. But what is this really trying to show? And it's possible that when the bond was first created, that they needed to show cash balances in there. But I think we're now to a point where it's not necessary anymore because we have the increment coming in to
Mhm.
cover the
Right.
debt service, so.
yeah, I just You know, I look
Yeah.
at the total. and
You're
I'm
like, wait a minute, this is
Every
not
to the left of that, and it doesn't add up, and so that's
Yeah.
where I dig,
Yep,
so,
yep,
you know, fair warning,
Yeah.
that's how I do it.
yeah, sure.
We
She
appreciate-
knows, you
we
know.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyways,
Anyway, that's what, sorry, it took me a while to get to that.
no, that's fine, you know,
But that's what's going on there.
Awesome.
And that's a report generated by the city. So if we want things to be shown differently, we can ask for that
Yeah.
to be done.
yeah, or just, you know, if I know, that's fine, I know that, with our QuickBooks, sometimes it's hard to change those reports.
Yeah, that one.
It doesn't matter, as long as I know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm
Sure.
a more attentive pilot, and if things don't add up, then I start asking questions, so.
Yeah.
Would be good to show it like in brackets, so it's.
Yeah.
Right, so, and I was thinking that maybe that was the case, that it was supposed to be subtracted, but it doesn't work out that way either.
Right.
So,
I think it's a separate, but it does appear to be together.
Separate, but together.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions over these financial summaries? All right, if you have other questions, we'll move on to adoption of resolution 2024-1 for termination of RAA number 480. Those are just discussions. We're moving on to the adoption. So now she has to present it first.
Okay, so this is a little bit different than last time, only because we did add the legal description and the map, and we changed the date to today, May 14th. But other than that, nothing else we didn't change any texts. So with these resolutions, we have to have this termination plan, which just kind of walks through what we will do, and it describes the budget, which is what we will do next, assuming this is passed. That's what this is right here, and it's showing that we'll distribute these funds. And I believe I said this before, but how this works is that we distribute funds based on estimates. Once the city council will send this, assuming this is approved, to the city council June 10th. Once the city council does their work and we send this to the state tax commission, then we distribute round 1. Then what happens is that there might be round 2 and 3 because of taxes still coming in till the end of the year. Everything's based on fiscal year. This goes through September 30th. After September 30th, if taxes are collected that were supposed to be collected, then Nez Perce County distributes those. But we have the responsibility of distributing them through the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. So we start out with these numbers. We hope that we've held back enough. These are also estimates. And so we believe that we are secure in distributing these.
And the board and the school district are swapped.
They are.
Yeah, I was just making sure that.
That is correct. Sorry, Bart.
Sorry.
So here is the legal description of East Main. And then finally the map of the area.
Perfect. All right. So I will entertain a motion to pass resolution.
Just for clarification.
Okay.
We vote, we approve the termination, and then it takes city council to adopt the thing.
Yeah, city council adopts an ordinance that refers to this resolution. But revenue allocation areas are technically opened and closed by the city council.
So we're basically approving having it sent forward to the city council.
Yes, yeah, you have to do this resolution.
Okay.
And it goes to them,
And when will the city council get back?
June 10th.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2024-1.
Motion?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, open for discussion.
No buyer's remorse here.
You know, it's really kind of a success. We created a district, East Main, for a purpose. We accomplished a purpose. We don't have any more projects we think that are worthwhile within that district. So we're closing it down and returning money to the city for school district. That's a success.
I think so too.
I think we're doing our job. If I could add, I know that we have some follow-on projects that we're looking at for a new RAA. And you guys have seen my project plan charts, and just something to think about as we move forward with that. I would be happy to help with the work to put something like that in a project plan so that we have a baseline and assumptions we can, you know, really detail out what we think the advantage to the taxpayer is going to be with that. So,
Right. Yeah.
so just something to think about.
It's really nice to see that, valuable, I think.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think so too.
All right, with no more discussion, then I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to adoption of amended 2024 budget. We kind of just went over a little bit.
Yeah. So, we, like I said, for whenever you're doing a closure of a revenue allocation area, then you amend the budget. Because you're not gonna have any more costs as far as like projects, and you are doing this distribution. These line items did not exist on the original budget, but they exist when you're closing out a revenue allocation area because you're distributing them back to the tax community. So then you get your balance to zero and you do the distribution after the work is done.
All right, so I guess I'll entertain a motion to adopt the amended 2024 budget as presented.
So move.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Open it for discussion. Questions? It's pretty clear. All right, with no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to unfinished and new business, anybody have any board member comment? What, you got anything? No?
Nothing worthwhile.
How about you?
I am good. I'm going on vacation.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna read something. It says, political class of candidates in Idaho continues to show the fractures that now fully exist. While many seek to win office and traditional Idaho values as Main Street Republicans, others are leaning into the far-right Freedom Caucus while following the narrative of various well-funded national conservative organizations, super PACs. Many Republican candidates are also mimicking the tactics of the Trump campaign. So this is the second paragraph of the Ben Proxim and Associates monthly report for the URA, the legislative lobbyist. And that strikes me as very political. And I don't think that we should be funding a lobbyist group that is being political because it will politicize the URA. So I object to that. I'm not getting paid, and I don't think I would want to politicize this board because it's about what's best for the taxpayers and not who's getting elected down in Boise. So I want to bring this to the attention of the board and possibly request that they retract that and stop putting political language in their newsletters. So, you know, I feel very strongly about this, and when we voted on paying them, it was supposed to be informational and somebody that represents us down in Boise, not something political. So anyway, if I don't know if you want to contact them and just tell them that one of your board members objected to this letter, or Because if I keep seeing political stuff in here, I'm gonna move that we drop paying them to represent us, because I think that would be a violation of what we do as a board. So anyway, that's my
think-
comment.
It might be best if you respond to my email
Okay,
and.
I can do
and
that,
say-
yeah.
And then I can forward it on.
right. Because I mean, I have political views about these two caucuses, and,
Sure.
you know, it's just not appropriate for me to bring those to the URA, so.
Sure.
This is not a political.
Yeah, we're not political, right? Right, so anyway, I will respond and then you can forward
Yeah,
that
I'm
and
happy
then we'll
to
see
forward
what
that.
happens. Yeah, okay, great, thanks.
All right, and, oh, go ahead, Butch.
Well, not to prolong it, Joe, I understand your objection. I read that and I reread that, because it kind of stood out.
Mhm.
And my thought was, here this law firm is trying to digest what the Idaho legislature was doing at that time.
Mhm.
And I don't think they meant it in a politicized way. It would be hard to report without trying to be political. It'd be difficult to put in words what the legislature did and why, without that or a similar comment. I didn't take it as their attempt to be political. But I understand your feeling.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, a good lobbying firm, you shouldn't really be able to tell what their politics, they need to work on both sides. And I missed that article or study that close enough to.
Same with politicians in general.
I agree. All right, any staff comments from,
Yes, so I started looking into your question about, should we do a kind of a revision maybe of the financial piece in these plans, or could it be an appendix later, or what would that look like? So I started diving into that, had a conversation with that a little bit about maybe what would that look like. I think I've said this before, amending plans is a difficult thing to do, and so I am leaning towards more of a kind of a financial report. But what I'd like to suggest is that we do that for all revenue allocation areas at the end of each fiscal year. So how we do the annual report, we could expand upon it in the annual report, or we can do a separate kind of, here's where we are, snapshot at the end. And the reason I say that is because if we do it mid-fiscal year, it's difficult getting certain data from the county to align. And so if we wait for fiscal years or tax years, then it makes it easier and more consistent, I guess. And so I think it can be done. Happy to do it. The end of our fiscal year is September 30. And so I would talk to Patty Weeks and her folks about what that would look like and what kind of information I can get from them. And then we would take a look at what our projections were in the plan. Diving in these files, there's like 17 copies. And so finding the one that was actually in the plan and then making those comparisons is something that we can do. And like I said, I would either suggest, I'll talk to Patty's group and say, does it make more sense to do it fiscal year or tax year, and then go from there.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I hadn't thought about the implications of altering the plan and then having to send it through the city
Yeah.
council again.
Right.
So I like the idea of doing that financial snapshot, and then if we can just administratively keep them all in one place so that there's one place we can go and
Right.
look, and then, because I know when I was working with Katie, she was like, where do you get these numbers from? I got them from the project.
I know.
And I thought, and I should have realized, because I knew that the East Orchard Sewer District was generating much more money,
Mhm,
but,
right,
it's just, I
yeah,
didn't have the data, so.
Right.
I really think that the yearly snapshot is the way to do it.
yeah.
And,
It might take us a little bit of time to build the first ones.
Right.
But
right.
after that,
And
it should just.
I
be a matter of-
apologize for the extra work, but I think it will pay off, especially if we, you know, are kind of tracking baselines and
Mhm.
figuring out how much money that we have, that then everybody has the data and it's kind of centrally located.
Yeah.
Maybe after that initial hump, it'll be pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys bearing with us. We inherited these things, and so it takes us a little bit longer to find information than maybe if we would have created them ourselves. So,
Different
Oh.
type of system.
yeah.
I know a little bit about that, don't you?
Yeah, so yeah, the information's there, we have to do, it just takes us time to do the digging sometimes for stuff,
Yeah, and we've got several months before the end of the year,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's time to do it.
right?
I have one question that's kind of out of order, but the East Main project that we were looking at with that gentleman, did that ever go anywhere? Are we still?
We met with, city staff and I met with him, it doesn't look like it's going I don't think the door is closed, but they're not aggressively pursuing it at the same time. So,
Perfect.
Status on the East Orchard sewer, or what are you? Waiting on the rock report, or got it, and waiting on building up more funds to
yeah.
do all three of them?
Two things, the rock boring, study is happening. And then Joe Kaufman visited with us and we delayed that one until I believe August because the city was looking into a DEQ funding source. And that funding source was going to tell us which direction we were gonna go. If we were gonna get it, then we were gonna pursue a bigger project. If we don't get it, we're gonna pursue a smaller project.
Thanks.
Did you have any comments?
All right.
Is there anybody who's not gonna be able to make the June meeting?
And June meeting is, the 11th,
That sounds right.
that's all I got on URA on that.
As far as I know.
I'll be there. I'll be busy the week before and the week after.
Tim, you're in
Yeah,
town?
I'll be here.
As far as I know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
I think the only thing I would say is that if we come to the June meeting and we don't have new work to do, we may have invoices that need to be paid.
Okay.
But we could, it may be a short meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
I like shopping.
So it won't take too much out of your day.
All right. Perfect. Well, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
All right, with the motion in a second, open for discussion probably now, so we'll move it fast.
Okay.
Aye.
Sounds good.
See.
Oh, the favor say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, thanks, Dad.
Yep, have a great day.
Bye.